Okay, folks, well, we continue in the fourth essay of Kuntres Achrein. Yesterday we spoke about the virtue of physical-oriented mitzvahs done in the material world as opposed to my feelings of love and awe towards God. So yesterday we explained that the physical world comes from a higher place, from Tohu, the world of chaos, from the name Sag, the divine name Sag, which we explained yesterday, the way we spell out God's name. And therefore we have 4 different ways that we have a numeric value of a gematria, which means just a different dimension of the creative power of God through the creative process. So Sag is a higher world, the name of God, where the material, physical things come from. Our soul comes from a lower world, the world of Tikkun, the world of rectification, a lower level in the divine order. And therefore the physical things are greater as a result. But they need to be rectified through our soul. That's one explanation we gave yesterday. Another explanation we gave is that the inwardness of God we can't have through the love and awe of God, but the inwardness of God we can have through the physical act of a mitzvah. And then finally, we gave a metaphor of a parent gives over to a child the essence of intelligence, as opposed to a teacher only gives a glimmer of their intelligence. I'm giving you what I have in my mind is only but a ray and a light, a glimmer, as opposed to the very core and essence. That's what a parent gives over. So likewise, the essence of God we have a connection to through the physical act of a mitzvah, but the love and awe of God, we're only getting a ray and a glimmer. Today we continue with this idea. The Alter Rebbe says, besides all of the above, even a soul that comes from Atzilus, right? And that soul that comes from Atzilus is a very lofty soul that it can generate intellectually grasping the greatness of God and therefore developing a love and awe of God. That love and awe is called an elevation, an upward elevation. It's actually not really elevation, it's a departure alone. And therefore it does not fulfill the purpose. Only when it descends the light of God into this world do you fulfill the purpose. So love and awe of God that's not related to a mitzvah only departs, the light of our soul departs upwards, but the light of God does not come downwards, which is ultimately the purpose. So let me explain. If you're standing at the Grand Canyon or some other awesome place and you really feel the presence of God, you do. You sense it. And you have a love and awe of God. So what the Alter Rebbe is saying is, it's not good. The light of your soul is departing. And that's not the appropriate thing. What do you mean? But I'm experiencing, sensing the love and awe of God. Let's say it's real, right? Not good. And with this we can understand why. Because of the well-known debate between two non-scholars in Fiddler on the Roof. Tevya says to his wife Golda, "Do you love me?" And she responds, "What do you mean? For 25 years, I've washed your clothes, I've fed you, I've done for you, and da-da-da-da." What is the debate over here? Well, he wants to have the experience, the feeling, the romantic idea of love. And that's what he's looking for. That is, as the Alter Rebbe says, a departure alone of the light of your soul upwards, but it's not bringing anything downwards. Golda responds, "What do you mean? I express that love in my actions that I've done for you. 25 years, I've washed your clothes, I've fed you and taken care of you, and so on and so forth." Meaning that I've expressed it in an action of doing towards you. So now that Rebbe explains over here. So let's take the example. You're at the Grand Canyon, you're at some awesome place, and you really feel the presence of God. Well, if it just remains there, then, God forbid, there's a histalkus, a departure alone of the light of the soul upwards. What it needs to be done then is, then take some money out of your pocket and give tzedakah. Express it, that love and awe, in a mitzvah. Give charity. Or if you're at the Grand, find a Jew and put tefillin on with that Jew. Or put on tefillin yourself and pray. Express that love and awe, not as a departure of the light of the soul, but that it should be expressed in some physical action of a mitzvah. So what you have then indeed is the initiation of the arousal of the soul from below that goes up, but then there's the light of God that comes back down and is expressed in this world, right? And that's the idea of practical mitzvahs, that they draw light into the vessel because you've created a vessel for the light of God through the act that you have done, or the words of Torah or prayers that you've said. But if it just remains with a feeling, wow, feeling might be great. Missing the whole point. Wow. I just saw a video yesterday of a group of people that were coming together. Actually, it was in Haifa, and they were singing a melody, a song, and they didn't know each other, 3,000 people, and they were all having this wonderful experience and it felt very heartsick, very heartfelt, and very spiritual. But that's the problem. Looking for a spiritual experience. But that's missing the entire point, because that will be the light of the soul that will depart. In other words, it's going up. The whole point is that something goes up in order to bring back down. Ultimately, you need both. So you need the order of the elevation, but it's the elevation of not just your feelings, but that feeling is expressed in words, Torah, words of prayer, action, tzedakah, charity, putting on tefillin with somebody, right? Both are needed in the divine purpose of the individual. And because what goes up, also we need to bring that light back down. And that light will only, supernal light, will only be revealed below in a vessel that's created. A vessel is created through speech and the actions of the individuals, not the feelings. The feelings of the soul of love and awe relative to the action of a mitzvah is like light to the vessel of the mitzvah. And that light of the soul then just goes up and it evaporates. It evaporates. Now, we do have a concept of things going up, and that is like Shabbos. It's called Aliyas Ha'olamis, the elevation of the worlds. How do you define Shabbos? ultimately, on a mystical level, the definition of Shabbos is the world has been elevated into a different plane. Shkia, sunset, is the cutoff point. It's not just an arbitrary thing. Like, a moment before that, if you light a candle, you're okay. If you light a candle afterwards, after the sun sets, you've transgressed prohibition. But what's actually happened is the world changes, because the elevation means the vessels are in a state of elevation towards the supernal lights above. So there's actual elevation of the world. Now, we're not privy to that. We don't see that. So therefore we need a time that this is the time, till this is the cutoff point. But if we had the eyes to see, like tzaddikim do, then you will be aware of the aliyas ha'elamis, of the vessels of the world that are elevating to their supernal lights above. But that's the vessels elevating. But the light of the soul, if it merely is elevating, that's called a departure. It's not elevating in order to create a union, as Shabbos does, or Yom Kippur, or holidays, elevation of the world. But the soul, then it's a mere departure. Unless, again, that love and awe, that experience is being connected with speech and action, that then that elevation will bring to a downward flow of divinity into this world. With this, then we can understand why Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, prayed 515 times, which is the numeric value of the word be'eschanan, and I beseech you, as he says in the book of Devarim of Deuteronomy, because he wanted to be privileged to go into the Holy Land of Israel, because there he could do, specifically, mitzvahs that have to do with the land, mitzvahs that have to do with practical, physical observance of the mitzvah, which is the ultimate purpose of creation. So what do we have over here? Interesting idea. Human condition is that we're looking for an experience. So some people are looking for, negative experiences, bad things. Other people are looking for experiences that are wholesome. Some are looking for a more spiritual, lofty experience, and some are even looking for a godly experience. Well, that's part of the problem. It's the experience that you're looking for. You're looking for, you're looking for good. To have good. So, you can have good of a good meal, and you can have good of good music, good teachings, and even higher, good godliness. But then that's part of the departure. That's part of the seeking for the feeling, to feel good of the soul. Again, some people just want to feel good in the body. More elevated people want to feel good in the soul. But that is all the problem. It's a departure. It's all about feel good. Here we're talking about do good. Do good. Yeah. So when you have that urge to connect to God, you have that moment, you're standing in an awesome place and you feel the presence of God. So instead of just feeling good about it, do good. Go over and give charity. Go put on tefillin with somebody. Bring it into action. Or say words of Torah in that moment. That awesome moment. And then that elevation will bring a downward flow of divinity into this world as a result. Otherwise, it's just a departure. That's the story. Powerful idea. Brian from Uganda, Tarek from Egypt, Shelley from Boca Raton, Irma from St. Martin, Alice from Baltimore, Sandy, good morning, Rachel, David from Wisconsin, Ronald from Brazil, Maryland, from Delaware. Looking at any questions, any comments? Okay, I guess it's all clear. Margalozata from Poland. Thank you, Paul, Andrea, Tatiana, Baruch. All right, wonderful. Folks, sharing is caring. Please share the Alter Rebbe's teachings with others. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Azuchin Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day.